Have you ever felt that life's challenges hit you harder than others? That no matter how much you try, peace seems out of reach? Perhaps you've been striving for success, only to feel trapped by your own expectations or the opinions of others. What if I told you that the answers you're searching for have been waiting in the wisdom of an ancient philosophy called Stoicism? Stoic philosophy is not about lofty ideals or impossible standards. It's a practical, everyday guide to building a life of resilience, inner calm, and clarity. In this video, we will unlock 6 powerful Stoic secrets that will shift your mindset, change the way you approach life's hardships, and help you become the best version of yourself. Stay with us as we journey into the heart of Stoicism. These insights will not only resonate deeply, but could very well be the keys you've been looking for to unlock lasting contentment and strength. Now, let's get started. 1. Rule your life with rationality, not emotions. Have you ever made a decision in the heat of the moment and regretted it later? How often have you felt that your emotions controlled your actions, leaving you stuck in a cycle of frustration and poor choices? One of the greatest lessons from Stoicism is the importance of ruling your life with rationality rather than emotions. The Stoics believed that emotions, while natural, should not dictate our actions. Instead, we must step back, observe, and respond with reason. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, constantly reminded himself that emotions like fear, anger, and sadness are fleeting. They pass like clouds in the sky. What remains after the storm of emotions is the clarity of reason. It is reason that guides us to make decisions that align with our values, not momentary impulses. So, ask yourself, how many of your regrets stem from decisions made out of emotional reaction rather than thoughtful reflection? In modern life, we are bombarded with triggers that evoke emotional responses, whether it's social media, daily stressors, or the behavior of others. But Stoicism teaches us to take control of our responses. When we allow emotions to rule, we give away our power. When we respond with rationality, we reclaim that power and make choices that are in line with our true intentions. But how can we practice this? The Stoics teach us a simple yet profound exercise: pause. In moments of emotional upheaval, pause before reacting. Reflect on what is driving your emotional state and ask yourself, will this matter a week from now? A year from now? By creating this space between stimulus and response, we allow ourselves to choose rational action over impulsive reaction. Another key aspect of Stoicism is understanding that we can't control external events, but we can control how we respond to them. Emotions often arise from our judgments about these events, not the events themselves. When something doesn't go your way, pause and ask, is this within my control? If it isn't, letting go of emotional attachment to the outcome will free you from unnecessary suffering. Imagine a life where your actions are no longer dictated by anger, fear, or frustration, but guided by calm rationality. What would that feel like? The power to live this way is within your reach. It begins with understanding that while emotions will come and go, your ability to choose how you respond is always present. This leads us directly to the next Stoic secret. How can we harness adversity to shape our strength? 2. Adversity shapes your strength. We all face hardships, some that seem insurmountable, others that gnaw at our daily existence. But why is it that some people crumble under pressure, while others rise stronger? The Stoics believed that adversity is not something to avoid, but something to embrace. It is through hardship that we develop resilience, wisdom, and inner strength. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote extensively about the power of adversity. He saw difficulties not as setbacks, but as opportunities for growth. Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body, he said. In modern life, we often shy away from discomfort, seeking to avoid pain at all costs. But Stoicism flips this perspective. Hardships are not there to destroy us. They are there to teach us. Think about the toughest challenges you've faced in life. Didn't they also bring out the best in you, forcing you to find strength you didn't know you had? What if you could approach every challenge in life with the knowledge that it is shaping you into a stronger, wiser person? How would this change the way you face difficulties today? The Stoics understood that suffering is inevitable, but the key lies in how we respond. Rather than asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they urged us to ask, "What can I learn from this?" When we shift our perspective from victimhood to empowerment, adversity becomes a tool for self-improvement rather than a source of despair. But how can we practically apply this Stoic mindset? One way is by practicing what is known as premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This involves visualizing possible obstacles and hardships before they occur. By mentally preparing for the worst, we reduce the shock and emotional turmoil when adversity strikes. Instead of being blindsided, we remain steady, ready to face whatever comes. It's easy to view adversity as something negative, but imagine if you could see each hardship as a stepping stone toward becoming a more resilient and capable individual. Stoicism teaches that every challenge is an opportunity to practice virtue, to cultivate patience, courage, and wisdom. And here's a truth that might surprise you. The moments that break you also fix your vision. When you are stripped of what you thought you needed, you begin to see clearly what truly matters. This is the gift of adversity, one that few realize until they look back on their journey. In embracing this Stoic approach, we learn that pain is not permanent, but the lessons we gain from it last a lifetime. But how do we avoid the trap of expecting too much from ourselves and others, leading to endless frustration? That's what we'll explore next. 3. Your expectations can be your greatest enemy. How many times have you been disappointed because things didn't go as planned? How often do you find yourself frustrated because people don't meet your standards or because life doesn't unfold in the way you expected? This sense of dissatisfaction, fueled by unmet expectations, is one of the biggest sources of unhappiness. And yet, how often do we stop and reflect on this? In Stoicism, there is a strong emphasis on managing expectations. The Stoics recognized that high expectations, whether of ourselves, others, or life, lead to inevitable disappointment. They taught us to focus on what we can control and to let go of unrealistic hopes about what we can't. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, advised that we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgments about them. Often, our suffering comes from expecting the world to conform to our desires rather than accepting it as it is. Have you ever thought about how much of your stress comes from expecting too much? Whether it's from a friend, a partner, or even from your own achievements, unmet expectations can sour even the best of circumstances. Stoicism teaches us to lower those expectations, not in a negative sense, but in a realistic one. When we stop expecting perfection, we allow ourselves to enjoy life for what it is, rather than for what we wish it could be. But how do we begin to let go of these expectations that are so deeply ingrained in us? One powerful Stoic practice is the exercise of negative visualization. Instead of constantly focusing on what we hope to gain, we take a moment to reflect on the possibility of loss. By imagining life without the things or outcomes we're attached to, we cultivate gratitude for the present and reduce the pain of disappointment if things don't go our way. For instance, think about your relationships. What if you stopped expecting people to act a certain way or to fulfill your needs perfectly? How much more peaceful would your interactions be if you could simply accept people as they are, flaws and all? And in your own life, how much pressure would you relieve if you stopped expecting yourself to achieve unrealistic goals within impossible timelines? What if you could find contentment in the effort rather than in the outcome? The Stoics didn't suggest that we lower our expectations because they wanted us to aim low or live passively. Instead, they recognized that by releasing our tight grip on how we think things should be, we open ourselves to experiencing life more fully, without the constant sting of disappointment. Here's something to reflect on. Imagine a life where your happiness isn't tied to the expectations you place on others or on the future. What would it feel like to be free from this endless cycle of frustration? It's possible, and it starts with the Stoic practice of focusing on what is within your control while letting go of what isn't. As you watch this video, I encourage you to reflect on your own expectations. Where have they caused you the most pain? How might releasing them bring you more peace? If this resonates with you, stay with me as we uncover the next Stoic secret, which touches on something even more valuable than expectations: time itself. 4. Time is your most precious resource. Do you ever feel like time is slipping through your fingers, that no matter how much you try to manage it, there's never enough? In a world that constantly demands more of our time, it's easy to lose sight of just how precious this resource truly is. The Stoics understood this better than most. They taught that time is the one thing we can never get back once it's gone. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, warned that we are not given a short life, but we make it short by wasting time. Have you ever considered how much of your time is spent on things that don't truly matter? Whether it's mindless scrolling on social media, worrying about things you can't control, or spending hours trying to please people who don't value your effort, time often slips away unnoticed. But once it's gone forever. Stoicism invites us to become more mindful of how we spend our time. Instead of viewing it as something that simply passes, we can begin to see time as the most valuable currency we possess. So, how are you spending yours? What would happen if you treated time with the same care that you treat money or other resources? Would you spend it on things that drain you, or would you invest it in activities that bring you closer to your goals and align with your values? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." This isn't meant to instill fear, but rather to remind us that life is finite. We don't know how much time we have left, so we must make the most of the moments we're given. One way to align with Stoic principles is by creating a personal philosophy around time management. This isn't about cramming every second with productivity, but about being intentional. Reflect on where you're wasting time, whether it's on negative thoughts, distractions, or activities that don't bring meaning to your life. Then, make a conscious decision to redirect that time toward things that matter: self-improvement, relationships, meaningful work, and rest. The beauty of Stoicism is that it helps us focus on the present moment. Instead of getting caught up in the past or worrying about the future, we are encouraged to live fully in the now. Time spent regretting or fearing is time wasted. Time spent acting with purpose, even in small ways, is time well spent. But here's a challenge. What would you do differently if you knew today was your last? This is not just a philosophical question. It's a Stoic exercise that encourages us to live with urgency and intention. Every moment is an opportunity to live according to our highest values. What will you do with yours? If you've made it this far in the video, I want to encourage you to watch till the end. Each of these Stoic secrets builds on the last, and together they form a powerful guide to living a life of meaning and purpose. And next, we'll explore a concept that goes hand in hand with time: mastery over oneself. 5. Mastering yourself is true power. How often do we look outward for validation, for power, for control over others, thinking that these are the markers of success? Yet, one of the greatest truths in Stoicism is that real power doesn't come from mastering others. It comes from mastering yourself. This idea is deeply woven into Stoic philosophy, and it's one that can radically transform your life once you understand it. In Stoicism, self-mastery means having control over your thoughts, emotions, and actions. While the world around you may be chaotic, filled with unpredictable events and people who act in ways you can't control, you always have power over yourself. Epictetus, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." True freedom, according to the Stoics, is not about being able to do whatever you want. It's about being free from the chains of impulsive reactions and desires. Ask yourself, how often do you let your thoughts spiral into negativity? How often do your emotions dictate your actions, leading to regrets later? We've all experienced moments where we've felt out of control, where anger, fear, or sadness has overtaken us. But what if you could develop the ability to remain calm, clear-headed, and composed in any situation? What if, instead of being ruled by your emotions, you could observe them, understand them, and then choose your response? This is the essence of self-mastery, and it's at the heart of Stoicism. But mastering yourself is not an easy task. It takes practice, discipline, and a deep commitment to personal growth. One of the first steps is becoming aware of your inner dialogue. Pay attention to the thoughts that run through your mind throughout the day. Are they empowering or disempowering? Do they reflect your highest values, or are they driven by fear and insecurity? Another key aspect of self-mastery is controlling your desires. The Stoics were deeply aware of the dangers of being controlled by our wants and cravings. They taught that the pursuit of external things, whether it's wealth, status, or pleasure, often leads to disappointment and suffering. Instead, they encouraged us to cultivate inner virtues like wisdom, courage, and self-discipline. But here's the truth: mastering yourself doesn't mean you never feel emotions or desires. It means you don't let them control you. You can experience anger without acting on it. You can feel fear without letting it paralyze you. You can have desires without being consumed by them. This is the kind of inner strength that Stoicism helps us develop. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever struggled with controlling your emotions or impulses? How do you think your life would change if you could master yourself in these areas? Let me know in the comments. Your journey might inspire someone else who's watching this video. Next, we'll dive into another Stoic truth, one that underpins all the others: the importance of acceptance. 6. Acceptance is the path to inner peace. Acceptance. What does this word really mean to you? For many, it might conjure up images of passivity, of simply giving up. But in the world of Stoicism, acceptance is anything but passive. It is a powerful act of surrendering to what we cannot change and taking responsibility for what we can. The Stoics taught that much of our suffering comes from resisting reality. We waste time and energy fighting against circumstances that are beyond our control, wishing things were different or hoping that people would change. But as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of differentiating between what is within our control and what isn't. Can you control the weather, the actions of others, the past? Number. Yet, how much time do we spend lamenting these things, allowing them to rob us of our peace? The truth is, we can only control our own actions, thoughts, and reactions. Everything else must be met with acceptance. What does it look like to practice acceptance? It starts with letting go of the desire to control outcomes. When you accept that you cannot change the past, for instance, you free yourself from the torment of regret. When you accept that other people will act according to their nature, not yours, you free yourself from frustration and disappointment. Acceptance is not about resignation. It's about recognizing reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. This shift in perspective allows us to focus on what truly matters, how we respond to life's challenges. Imagine the weight that would be lifted if you could accept things as they are, without constantly wishing they were different. When you begin to practice acceptance, you open the door to inner peace. You stop fighting battles that aren't yours to fight, and you begin to focus on what you can do here and now. Stoicism teaches us that life is filled with challenges and hardships, but it's not the events themselves that cause us distress. It's our resistance to them. So, what are you holding on to that is keeping you from peace? Is it regret, anger, unmet expectations? What if, instead of resisting these feelings, you accepted them as part of your human experience? How much more peaceful would your life be if you let go of the need to control what cannot be controlled? As we bring this video to a close, I encourage you to reflect on these Stoic secrets. Each one is a powerful tool for living a life of wisdom, peace, and resilience. But remember, Stoicism is not just about learning, it's about practice. The more you apply these principles in your daily life, the more you will unlock the inner calm and strength that the Stoics so wisely cultivated. Thank you for staying with me throughout this exploration of Stoic philosophy. These 6 secrets are life-changing when fully embraced, and I hope they resonate with you as much as they have with me. Now, I encourage you to take the next step. Comment below and share which of these Stoic secrets resonates with you the most. Your insights could inspire others on their journey to inner peace and strength. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who could benefit from Stoicism's timeless wisdom. Your support helps us continue to create content that empowers and uplifts. Until next time, may you find strength in wisdom and peace in the practice of Stoicism. Thank you, and I wish you a journey filled with growth and clarity.